Wait, I have my keys, right? All right. Okay. Going inside my pocket for a little bit.
Wait, let me see. Let me see.
Second floor experience. Waffle House.
Take one.
It's time to grub. Take one.
Will the soundtrack kindly produce a sound? Go on. Don't be nervous. Go ahead. Any sound. Well, that isn't quite what I had in mind.
I'm gonna do the All-Star. Oh, sorry.
Real quick, hash browns or grits?
Hash browns.
Yeah, I'll do the All-Star special. Just regular waffle. I'll do scrambled eggs, bacon, and then hash browns, please.
That's it.
That's it. Thank you.
Okay, I think to be in frame, you have to like
I know,
be,
yeah,
you have to be
yeah.
like down here. All right, I say we start like this is us. Starting.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So, I have a I have a story to tell you about this week. I was calling my friend Zach Wilkie, who we've had on the podcast, and I was telling him about how I just feel like I'm really being stretched right now and growing, and like it's kind of hard lately. Just my routine's been out. Went to freaking California and did all this stuff, the young adult retreat. I was pretty tired. Like you kind of had to like keep things going this week. I felt like my energy's been really low, and I'm like, man, God, like this is a lot, and I'm having like a lot of things that normally aren't busy are getting very busy right now, and so.
Yeah.
I was just praying, and I was like, Lord, like, why am I feeling this way? Like, would you just give me words to describe this? And I felt like he was saying, there's a difference. I feel like he was saying, I'm expanding your capacity, but there's a difference between capacity and potential. Your potential is how I see your life as a whole and what's possible. What I know is possible for you, Joseph, as a person. That I've created, but your capacity is what you can handle right now. And I felt like he was saying, I'm stretching you to giving you some struggles and some whatever to grow that capacity. That's what it results in is your capacity is grown. You can handle more.
Yeah, it increases.
Yeah, and it was this really, really great moment where I was telling Zach Wilkie about this, and it was just like, yeah, profound, yeah, profound, yeah. And I kid you not, an hour after I got off the phone with him,
Wait, what day is this?
this is Tuesday, this is
Okay.
last Tuesday.
Okay.
An hour after I got off the phone with him, I'm driving home, and I try to like accelerate to get past these cars, and my RPMs like redline. It's like, and I keep like I'm like, okay, that was weird. Like I slow down, and it just feels like it didn't go in gear.
Yeah.
And my third gear has kind of been, I told you this, it's been a little bit,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
almost hiccuping trying to get into gear, and when it's cold in the mornings. And I was like, okay, what if I'm just gonna slow down and see if it'll lock into gear. It didn't. So now I can only go 25 miles an hour. And I pull into Kalahari, and I'm like driving around the Kalahari parking lot I turn my car off, turn it back on, trying to just figure out, troubleshoot. I get out, I check all my fluids, and I'm like, I think everything's okay. And then I was like, I think my transmission just went off. So luckily I have AAA.
Oh my gosh, dude.
So I called the tow truck and asked Taylor to come get me too. So she comes and gets me, the tow truck gets there, and we just tow it like 10 minutes down the road to the mechanic. And
This all happened on Tuesday?
This all happened
After
on
Monday
Tuesday,
night?
after Monday night.
Holy crap.
And it turns out my transmission is 100% blown, gone. And he quoted me $5,200 to rebuild it. I texted Zach Wilkie the next day and I was like, remember that whole expanding your capacity thing I was telling you about? Yeah, well, God doubled down on that yesterday after we got off the phone. The only like silver lining of this whole thing is that one of our friends at church who's very mechanically minded told me about this place in Pflugerville called Eagles Transmissions. And so I called him. I was like, hey, here's the situation. Like, is there anything you can do to help? And he was like, yeah. So he gave me a quote and he was like, we could do it for like $3,900 to $4,600, like a full rebuild, not a used one, full rebuild.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, that's definitely better than $5,200.
Yeah.
But it's still, it was a buzzkill of a week, for the week, dude.
I can imagine, dude. I can imagine. Man.
So far I've had a motor go out in a vehicle before. I've had both my front tires blow out. I've had my transmission go out.
Is this the worst one so far, you think?
No.
As far as like price?
Oh yeah. As far as
yeah.
I don't know. Like my parents, I was in high school when the motor on my truck blew up, so I'm not sure how much that was because they paid for it. But
what happened with your diesel? You had to do some repair on it.
oh, that was just
Was that like the power steering or something like that?
oh, I had a water pump
Water pump.
go out, which that sucked too, and I had the power steering go out. But that was just a
That
pulley.
probably wasn't that bad.
That was just a pulley.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
The most stressful one to date has been the front end of the Mercedes, the van going out.
Yeah.
Because of the circumstance.
Yeah.
The motor going out on my first truck ever sucked because I was out without a truck for like 6 months.
6 months.
It was something insane because the mechanic was like an idiot and like took forever. It was a terrible. It was a nightmare situation for my dad
half
because
a year.
I know it was insane. It may not have been maybe it was like 4 months, but the third worst, hands down, was when I had like a 2003 Ram 2500 diesel. I took it to the first time I got it. I took it to Taylor's house in East Texas to go see her. Before we were married, I surprised her. And that truck had like 350,000 miles on it. And so I take her out on a date. Like I go surprise her. We get in the truck. She's so excited. We go out. I had this whole date planned. We're on our way to the restaurant. And my truck starts to overheat.
I think you told me. You
Yeah.
told me the story. Yes. Okay.
So we barely make it there. And I see that my engine's like smoking. Like I literally like don't know what to do. Oh no! I'm sorry, that's not what happened. We hit a bump on the highway and it blew the cap off of my my coolant reservoir. It blew it off. Literally blew it off. So I had stopped at AutoZone to get a new cap after dinner. By the way, that was the most like stressful dinner ever because I had no idea what was going on. I had no idea how I was going to get her home.
Yeah.
So we limp to AutoZone and get like a new cap, new coolant and everything, and that like I think is fine. And so we're driving back on the way home. It overheats like 2 more times on the way home where we just have to stop on the side of the road and just let it cool down.
Yeah.
And I'm like thinking for sure this is gonna blow up my engine. But that like 5.9's Cummins engine is it's a beast. It's known for being a beast. So we make it back and I basically spend the next like 3 days at their house trying to fix it. And I go like, watching YouTube, doing everything I can. I replaced the thermostat first, thinking that was it, which was a really easy fix. That didn't do it. Then I drained all the coolant out and figured out that it was the water pump. But like to get to the water pump is like so difficult. And so that took me like a whole day just to get to it. And then to get the new one in took forever. And then I had to buy like 5 more things of coolant. to fill it back up, and that was stressful too. But yeah, that's how my week's gone. So, and this is the kicker. He can do it, but it's going to take 14 to 21 days.
Man, that is.
You remember when we were playing Cash Flow?
I was just gonna say, dude.
And you have that feeling where you're doing pretty well in the game, then you land on a doodad, and you're like, this could either be like a $50 restaurant meal doodad, or this could be like a $20,000
Yeah.
doodad.
You hit the 20,000.
I hit the 20,000.
That's a bad draw, dude.
I had a bad draw. Someone did not shuffle those cards.
Dang, dude, that's freaking crazy. I guess I've never dealt with the transmission going out on an automatic like that. That sucks. That freaking sucks. I feel like my Elantra is close to that.
How funny would that be
Oh, dude.
if both of our transmissions went out at the same time?
I would just have to laugh, dude. Like I wouldn't be able to do anything else. Just to keep my sanity. That's what you have to do. You just have to laugh, dude. Bro, dude, you know, when I got the ticket for the truck, for driving the truck, it was so funny, bro, because we left that podcast with your cousin Zach, and yeah, I told you all about that whole weekend. It was like I had zero freaking sleep, and it was a crazy weekend. But I remember leaving that podcast, and I was like, dang, like the sun was setting, bro. The sky looked beautiful. And I was just like in the moment, you know. I was like, dang, God, like thank you. I was like, man, God, like I love you, like. Thank you so much for, like, it was a rough weekend, but, like, we got it done. Things worked out, like.
We got the podcast done.
Like, I'm home, like, we're here. Thank you. And then 10 minutes later, I see blue and red lights flashing behind me, dude. I get slapped with a 300 freaking.
He's gonna bring your bacon right out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I get slapped with a friggin' $300 citation. And I remember thinking that moment, it was like right after, I was just like, you know what, God? Thank you. I was like, thank you. Bro.
And the good and the bad are here.
It's the irony that kills me, dude.
Oh my
It's the
gosh.
irony that just really gets me. I live for it. Dang.
You want
I
to
kind of, yeah.
pause it?
Yeah.
We're back. We thought that you may not want to hear us eat, so you're welcome. Let's turn this into like an ASMR podcast.
Waffle House.
At Waffle House, ASMR would go crazy.
That would go crazy, actually.
Can you imagine like just one of those like 4-hour vibes YouTube channel, and it's just Waffle House sounds, like ambiance?
Dude, that'd be sick. That'd be just a sick background.
We bring in a microphone and we just camp out in here for 4 hours? That's what gets us to go viral? Dude,
Yeah, we could do the that challenge that Reed sent us, dude.
24 hours of Waffle House. Yo, comment if you want us to do a 24-hour Waffle House challenge where we have to stay in Waffle House for 24 hours, but each
Yeah.
all-star meal we eat, was that it?
Yeah. No, each waffle. For every waffle that you eat.
For every waffle we eat, an hour subtracted from the 24 hours.
I don't know how many waffles I could eat, dude.
Reed could eat at least 6.
You think he can eat 6? Yeah, I'm still afraid. All right.
I don't know. I think it'd be close to 6. I think you could get 4. I could maybe get 2.
I would have to do like, I'd have to do like 2, and then wait like an hour or 2, and then maybe do 2 more. I couldn't do it all in one go.
I bet
Like-
we could end up spending like 8 hours total.
8 hours.
After like that would be 16 waffles total that we would have eaten over that period together.
Oh wait. Oh, okay. So we would do it together.
Yeah,
It's like,
it's combined.
oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
You think
Yeah,
we
we could do that for sure. If it's combined, how many do you think you could eat?
over 8 hours? I don't know, man. I've never tested myself like that before.
That, like, my problem with something like that is that I don't necessarily get full to where like very fast where I can't eat anymore. It's that I get sick of what I'm eating because it's like the same thing, you know?
Yeah. Dude. There's just something about coming to Waffle House at night when you're not really supposed to come to Waffle House that unlocks, because it's a breakfast place,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So like common sense would tell you go for breakfast. But because of the accessibility of the 24-hour period that it is open, it makes you feel like a renegade coming at 10 p.m., midnight, 2 a.m., 4 a.m., dude.
yeah.
It's like a safe haven for my favorite food of all time.
It
Breakfast.
really is. Yeah. When I come to Waffle House, dude. Okay, I will say this. There's a different experience at Waffle House when you go alone. You ever gone to Waffle House alone?
Never.
You've never gone to Waffle House alone?
Not alone, no.
You should try it sometime. You feel like you're in a movie.
Really?
Yeah. You just come in, order that cup of coffee, dude. You're
Ooh.
just sitting next to the window.
Read a good book. I could
Yeah.
I could bring a good book
Yeah.
in here.
Dude,
Dang.
it's a vibe.
I might have
bro.
to do that.
It is a vibe. I've come to Waffle House alone like several times, and I've never doubted. Like I've never had a bad experience.
You've never regretted it?
Never regretted it. Yeah.
The thing about Waffle House though is it's a consistently inconsistent experience that keeps me coming back. Because
That's it.
the
That was
food,
so well said.
dude, the food, very consistent.
Yeah.
Almost every single Waffle House you go to, you will be able to taste the exact same all-star breakfast, which is paramount to its familiarity. You feel like it's home after you come here for a while. Like it's an escape,
Yeah.
right? But each Waffle House employs an interesting group of characters, meaning that variable is inconsistent.
Yeah.
You could get the most chill, cool waiter or waitress you've ever had, and then the very next visit, you could get like a drug addict,
Yeah.
or you could get like someone who's having a terrible day and doesn't care what anybody
hate your
thinks.
freaking guts.
And they're
dude.
like, "What do you want?
yeah.
What do you want?" It's not going to be out fast. You're not going to be seated fast. Like they'll tell you straight up to your face.
Yeah.
Like someone's not having a good day in here. Everyone feels it. Tension between cooks. You feel it. That is
Yeah,
why
absolutely.
my theory of Waffle House is that it is one of the last pieces of true America left.
I agree, dude.
Because when you walk in this building, you are signing up for a communal experience.
yeah,
If two cooks start fighting, you're gonna be here for that.
you're a part of it.
You're not making it to the door fast enough. If they come onto your table and everything, you're in it. Your waitress or waiter's having a bad day, you better just be ready to
Yeah.
endure it. No bad review's gonna take this place down.
Oh, no,
Dude, it's been
yeah.
open since 1950 something.
Yeah. A bad review.
Waffle House laughs at bad
Yeah,
reviews.
They live for it, dude. It only helps them. Dude, yeah, the fact that I can look over my shoulder and I'm seeing my food being cooked, like right there. Where else do you get that? Other than like a one of those crazy expensive Japanese restaurants where
True.
they cook right in front of you.
True. And that's another thing, price. It's typically,
Yeah.
you're getting a pretty decent breakfast for not $20 a person, which is nice.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
You
I
walk
just
out
got-
of here satisfied.
Yes. Dude, it's America's restaurant, bro.
It's-
It's America's
That's what that
restaurant.
sign says.
Yeah.
America's
Yes.
Restaurant.
It's America's
The
restaurant.
sign on the front door says America's Restaurant.
100%
Stand behind that.
believe in that, yeah.
Yeah.
I salute that, dude.
I would vote for that.
Yeah, dude.
Can you describe for everyone listening what it was like for us, our post Sheraton victory Waffle House experience?
Well, I feel like we'd have to. We need to tell, are we gonna tell the story of that?
We should probably just
Yeah, because it led into.
Yes.
That's why that Waffle
Yeah.
that night was so okay. Yeah. Do you remember that whole night? Because
fragments.
do you remember that we were going to? We had all driven there together, like a
Yes.
bunch of us,
Yes.
to go and like raid this abandoned.
I think you mean look at it from afar. Because that's all we were going to do.
something like that. Yeah. Anyways,
Look at it from public property.
yeah, exactly. Just like 15 guys. We're just gonna look at it. I think it was an abandoned silo, like a
Or like a
mass-
warehouse or something.
a
like
warehouse, whatever. Massive one, like in downtown Austin, right? Like pretty near
that. Dallas.
Dallas. Yeah, sorry, Dallas. So we get there and we pull up to this place, and only to find out that a police station was built around it.
Literally a whole parking lot full of cop
Yeah,
cars.
cameras everywhere. Like,
Chain link fence, like
yeah,
razor wire on top of it.
yeah. So we were only going there to look, but just in case we had any ideas, there was no shot that we were gonna get through. Yeah, barbed wire fences, cameras. The trip at that point was over. Then we had an idea.
But in another sense, it had just begun. Okay, let me interject. I remember you that night. You were on something because you were standing your ground. You were like, I am not leaving Dallas, Texas until I have an experience tonight.
Dude,
You stood on that ground.
I did.
You
I
stood
don't know what was
firm.
in me, bro.
I don't know either.
Something happens when adrenaline gets going, dude. I turn.
You probably had
yeah.
an os too before that.
I might have, yeah. And like, there's like 15 dudes, and like, well, there's like 8 guys packed in my car, and vibes are high, and it's like, you can't. It was like the ultimate buzzkill.
It really
And
was.
like, I couldn't just let that slide. So, I came up with this idea. Well, it was something that I had previously tried before, and it failed. So there's this hotel in the middle of downtown Dallas called the Sheraton Hotel. And I had some friends before that told me that they made it. This hotel is like a skyscraper.
in
It's
the
a
middle of Dallas.
Yeah, in the middle of Dallas. It's a freaking tall building. I had some friends tell me that they made it to the roof. Okay? And so I had tried to do it once before with some other friends. It did not work. We got caught. But this particular night with all the guys, since the whole silo thing didn't work out, I figured this would be a great opportunity to try again.
Just to give people some perspective, the Sheraton Dallas Hotel Center Tower has 42 stories.
There we go.
which means it's like 4,200 feet tall.
Yeah. So it's up there. It's definitely not the tallest building
No.
there, but it's up there. So I ask everyone, I forget, who were all the guys that decided to go? Who was all up there? It was me, you, Z,
Alex
Alex,
and Austin.
Austin. Was that it?
I think it was 5. Because that's all would fit in your car.
Me, you, Z, Austin,
Alex.
Holy crap. Okay. Yeah, because that. You're right. 'Cause that's who was in my car. So all the other guys in other cars went home. But I asked you guys if you wanted to climb the freaking Sheraton. And y'all were freaking down. Which I don't know how the heck you guys were just said yes to that.
Dude, I remember that night, your confidence was like through the roof. Your charisma was just like, I mean, like, I would have followed you anywhere that
I
night.
need to learn how to tap into that power again, dude.
You tapped into that cult leader charisma, dude.
Yeah. So we're all down. We drove to the Sheraton Hotel. We get there, and so to get to the roof, you have to take the regular elevator to the top floor. And then you have to sneak through these hallways where all of the laundry ladies do all their stuff. Remember that?
Yep.
And
So
so
a different set of elevators.
yeah, you have to find a different set of service elevators.
Disclaimer, we are not encouraging or promoting anyone to do this.
Disclaimer, everything we're saying right now is a complete lie. We never did this.
It's a hypothetical.
It's hypothetical.
If we were to do this, this is how we would do it.
Yes.
Continue.
Continuing. So the only way to get to the roof is through these service elevators, which we had to find. And I remember literally sneaking past. Do you remember this? We literally were sneaking past these laundry women or whatever. We get in the elevator. That elevator goes even higher. And it goes to they're these empty I don't know, top level storage rooms. These massive storage rooms.
It was all bare bones. Commercial storage rooms.
Yeah, there's trash everywhere, kind of. And so we're trying to. I remember that there's a way to go where you get on this. You go through a series of doors, and there's almost this catwalk, or not a catwalk. I don't know, but it's kind of outside-ish, but not really, and it leads to a ladder. So I knew that's where we had to get to. But I remember that one moment, dude, where there was a couple moments where it seemed like we were just at the end, there was nowhere to go. I mean, something that would just happen. I remember the one time when we first went into those rooms, we're looking through all these rooms, and then there's this door that was it was kind of closed, but not really. And I tried opening it, it wouldn't open. And we're just dang, dude, what do we do? And dude, I rammed my freaking shoulder into that door, dude, so hard, and it busted open. And we were all just
But before that, we had climbed a whole set of stairs to the door to the roof that was locked. You remember that?
oh my gosh, dude, you're right.
That was I thought it was done.
Oh my gosh, you're right, because that was the way that I went the first time I went. And that door was open then. So we went there, we went that route, realized it was closed, and we're like, frick, we gotta find another way. Which I can't even believe that we found another way.
Me neither.
Because we don't know where the heck we're going.
No, it was just
Yeah.
a guess game.
Yeah. So yeah, there was that, then the door that we busted open. We're walking around. So that was the door that led to that. Remember, it was dark.
Yeah,
And it's
it had the water was coming
Yeah,
down.
it was water coming out. It looked like these giant, generator kind of things. I don't know.
I think it was for air circulation.
Probably something like that. But they were massive and super noisy. But that section, you have to walk. If you think of the Sheraton, the hotel, like a rectangle, it's you have to walk around. And it's kind of it's like kind of, remember, like the walls were like open. Like you could, we were outside kind of, but not really. So you walk around and then do you remember there was a space you had to like jump down.
And there was a ladder there.
They're like, just randomly though.
Yeah.
Like there, just a random freaking ladder that was there so that we could climb down that one part. If that ladder wouldn't have been there, I don't know if we would have made it down
I don't think
to
so.
where we did. Yeah.
And you told me that the first time you guys did that, the ladder wasn't there.
No, it was not. Yeah. Which is wild, dude. It was wild. So we use that ladder to get down, and then that leads to another ladder that goes straight to the roof. Okay, so then remember we get up there, and like
we're on the roof.
But we can't see out because there's these walls that surround it.
There was probably like 8 foot tall walls.
Yeah. So we can't see anything. So
You can see the sky. You can see the sky directly above us.
Yes.
But you can't see over those 8 foot walls.
Yeah. So we were pretty bummed that we were like, freak, dude.
No,
like,
I remember being excited that we were out there.
Oh,
and we were looking around for.
Yes.
I think we spotted a door pretty fast.
We spotted a door, but we didn't know, there were 2 doors.
Okay.
And one of them was locked. And so we were like, frick, dude.
Okay, I remember.
Yeah, and then we found that second door, and it just happened to be open, bro. And I remember opening that door for the first time, dude.
Indescribable feeling.
Yeah. I literally could not describe it if I tried. It was just, like I said before, like peak euphoria. Like the most...
Everything you could ask for in a plot, we experienced.
Yes. It was amazing. It was amazing.
And so that door opened, and we saw like the Dallas skyline right there.
Yeah.
And it was a walkway completely around that 8 foot square we were previously
Yeah, a walkway
inside
that goes all the way around the building.
with but like with a fence around it, so it like had a railing and stuff.
Yeah. And we just hung out there, dude, for I don't know how long, maybe like 20, 30 minutes, and just soaked it in. We just soaked it in, dude.
And then we made it all the way back down without being caught.
Made it all the way back down without being caught. Yeah, which that was crazy. I think we just took the stairs all the way down. Yeah. So then following that event, we went straight to Waffle House. And
so wait, we were kind of in that state of euphoria, but delirious euphoria, because we climbed so many stairs. Like it was like a workout just to get there, and then all the way back down. So it was like 2 a.m. We were exhausted.
Yeah,
but
also like I can't believe we just freaking did that.
Yeah, we were. It was euphoria.
It was like the fact that it all worked out so well, like, I felt like I was in a movie. You know, like we ran into this problem, we got like our squad, but we're gonna go find another way through, and it just worked out. Like, gosh, there's very few other experiences I've had like that, if any.
And so we get to Waffle House, and we're having a great time. And Alex orders a bowl of chili.
Yeah, we're all just sitting down, soaking it in, thinking about what the heck just happened. And yeah, our friend Alex orders a bowl of chili at Waffle House at 3 a.m. in the morning. So,
and what happens next should tell you, if you've never been to Waffle House, all that you need to know about this place that we love.
So Alex gets this little bowl of chili, which is like probably this big. And then
it's like 4 inches wide.
Yeah.
Bowl.
And the waitress comes around and he asks the waitress, "Hey, can I get some cheese for my chili?" She's like, "Oh yeah, I'll be right back." Walks away, comes back like 10 seconds later with a literal square cheese slice.
Like a sandwich cheese slice.
Yes. It just
like a Kraft yellow American cheese slice.
Just a slice, bro. It just slaps it on the top of his freaking chili, bro. And that just sent us, bro, for a good laugh, man. Oh my gosh.
Her delivery with the flick of the cheese square, it just made
I was in disbelief.
slap on the top of the chili like a seal.
It was just so hysterical, dude. Oh my gosh. I just was not expecting that. Gosh. And that was just a cherry on top
Therein lies
of the night.
the inconsistency I was speaking of earlier.
Yeah.
Where you truly never know what's going to happen.
That was amazing, dude. I can tell you one of the times that I went to Waffle House by myself was when I was driving from home to Texas, and I think I was up like in the Panhandle of Florida. And so I stopped at this Waffle House at like it had to have been like 3 a.m., dude. And I walk in by myself. I think there was like one other person eating, and like the workers, like the servers are just like, and the cooks are just like chilling on the side. And I walk in and I sit down and like I'm sitting there and I had ordered my food, and the guy like walks away and he's talking to like this girl that she had like the work clothes on, but like it seemed like they were dating, I guess. And they had this massive freaking cake, just like a massive like Walmart birthday cake, out on like the counter.
Okay.
And like imagine like I'm like here, like I'm all the way at the end of the restaurant, and this dude just like yells at me like, "Hey, bro, it's my girlfriend's birthday. You want some cake?" I'm not even joking, bro. Like
No
3 a.m. This
way.
guy just asked me if I want a piece of cake, like at Waffle House, dude. And I was just like, yeah. So he gave me a fat piece of cake, bro.
Was it chocolate or
It
vanilla?
was just a basic vanilla, like white icing cake, like a basic like birthday cake, you know. And I was like, what the heck is going on?
The fact that he was so aggressive about asking you if you wanted a piece
Dude, I know.
made me feel like you thought you might have been like about to be robbed or something.
Yeah.
But then he offers you a piece of cake.
It's 3 a.m.
And like if you don't accept the cake for his girlfriend's birthday, he's probably gonna be pissed off.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I got from
Yeah.
you telling me that. Was that what it's like?
It was like pissed off or just severely disappointed. And I would have felt really bad. And dude, he gave me a cake, he served my food, like I think I talked with him a little bit. And then at the end of the night, or like when he took my plate and everything, he's like, "Dude, like where are you going, man?" I was like, "Dude, I'm driving to Texas. I got like 8 hours left." And he was like, maybe not 8 hours, actually 8 hours. And he's like, "Bro, let me get you a coffee." And dude, he brings out like a giant freaking coffee cup, like this big. Just gives it to me.
What?
It's like, "Yeah, bro, just have a safe drive, man. Like, have a good night."
That is what I'm talking
How incredible is that, dude? I have to say,
That's ministry.
it was one of the worst coffees I've ever had in my life, dude.
That's Waffle House, man.
But I drank that crap.
That coffee had probably been sitting for
Who knows?
24
Who
hours,
knows?
just marinating.
Yeah.
But you know what? He took care of you the best way he
dude,
knew how.
What an experience.
What a-
Like, I'm driving
Where
by
can you
myself.
go to get there?
Yeah, I'm making like a half cross country trip by myself. I stop at a diner at 3 a.m. in the morning. Dude gives me a cake and a free coffee. It just treats me like a human being. Where else are you gonna get that, dude? Where else are you gonna get that kind of experience? That's why Waffle House is America's restaurant.
I hope those who are listening can actually hear what we're saying, and I hope that you've gotten a better idea of what Waffle House is, but more than that, what it means to us as like a part of second floor. Like, it is a pillar
It is. It's a pillar.
of second floor. That's good.
It
Okay.
is.
I want to shift gears a little bit to wrap this up.
Give me some Dallas Willard,
Dude, I've been reading this book called Divine Conspiracy by Dallas Willard. And it is tearing me to shreds. Mentally and spiritually. In the best way.
In the
And-
best way. Where are you? What part are you on?
So I'm at the part where it's just about to get to, I think, him breaking down the Sermon on the Mount and like Jesus' spiritual mastery.
Yeah.
But right now he's setting up Jesus as like who he is.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Wait, so you got through the Gospel of Sin Management?
yes, I think so.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not sure if he's gotten to that point. He might be just about to get to that point. That part. I'm not sure.
Huh. Okay.
He did mention it, but he didn't like go deep into it yet.
Okay.
But anyway, so
Well, it's not like a whole chapter.
oh, okay.
It's just like a little segment.
Oh, no, I have
So you
gone through
probably
that,
did-
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
And it was great. So, oh my gosh.
I think I know where you're at right now.
He's talking, Dallas Willard is describing the intelligence of Jesus.
Yes.
And he says this phrase, like the way Dallas Willard words things is just absolutely unfair. He's such a good wordsmith.
Dude, it's insane.
His ability as a writer is unmatched.
Yeah.
To draw out the true meaning of things.
Yes.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So I have to read this.
Yeah, dude, that's how I feel. Like
He says it.
Yeah.
You cannot describe it in your own words the same way
Yeah.
and get the same effect.
Right.
Okay. So,
That is so true. God.
first of all, he's making the argument that Jesus is completely competent. And basically says it's not possible to trust Jesus or anyone else in matters where we do not believe him to be competent. And he says, can we seriously imagine that Jesus could be Lord if he were not smart? And so he's
Yeah.
responding to thought leaders, like theological thought leaders, the past several hundred years, who have started to portray Jesus as just a teacher,
Yeah.
just a nice guy,
Just a man.
just a
Like,
good
yeah,
man who
yeah.
made a bit of a difference on the
Yes.
world, etc. And Dallas Willard is saying, nah, dude, he is way more than that. He says, rather, he was accepted as the ultimate scientist, craftsman, and artist. The biblical continuing vision of Jesus was one who made all of created reality and kept it working. Literally, quote, holding it together, Colossians 1:17. Small wonder then that the first Christians thought he held within himself, quote, all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge, end quote, Colossians 2:3. And then I just want to go on just a little bit further. He's talking about how he's at literally a mundane level, Jesus knew how to transform the molecular structure of water to make it wine. And he goes on to say that, gosh, he's just so freaking good at wording this stuff.
He really is.
He talks about how he could create matter from the energy he knew how to access from the heavens. Basically, like when he multiplied the bread and fish to feed the 5,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
He knew how to suspend gravity, interrupt weather patterns, and eliminate unfruitful trees without saw or axe. He only needed a word. Surely he must be amused at what Nobel Prizes are awarded for today. Dude, oh my gosh. So, he said he knew how to enter physical death, actually to die, and then live on beyond death. He seized death by the throat and defeated it. Forget cryogenics. He says death was not something others imposed on him, which I thought was absolutely fun. And talks about how he says, nobody takes my life, I give it up by my choice, which is John 10:18. And so this is what I'm getting to. All these things show Jesus' cognitive and practical mastery of every phase of reality, physical, moral, and spiritual. He is master only because he is maestro. Quote, Jesus is Lord, end quote, can mean little in practice for anyone who has to hesitate before saying, quote, Jesus is smart, end quote.
Wait, read that again, dude.
Dude, he's not just nice, he's brilliant, okay? He says, quote, Jesus is Lord can mean little in practice for anyone who has to hesitate before saying, quote, Jesus is smart. And that, I'm not gonna lie, hit me like a ton of bricks.
Yeah, dude.
And lastly, he said, he's not just nice, he is brilliant. He's the smartest man who ever lived. He is now supervising the entire course of world history, Revelations 1:5, while simultaneously preparing the rest of the universe for our future role in it, John 14:2. Dude, let that sink in.
What a insane way to word all that, dude. Like, so good.
So this is my issue, Zach. Tell me why I was more moved by those 2 pages than I was in the service.
Oh, you went to that today? That was nice when you to say that.
And I'm not trying to be like a cynical. I'm not trying to be cynical. I'm just trying to be real. Like in my experience, what I experienced today was overstimulation.
Yeah.
And I wonder that if I put myself in the shoes of someone who is really battling with life, they're looking for an answer, maybe they're
Yes.
depressed, they're feeling hopeless, pretty much all the things that Jesus would want to amend, right? To transform in someone's life. And they come to a church service where they're like throwing everything in the kitchen sink too.
Yeah.
I don't think we're drilling deep enough into who Jesus is, not just with the person off the street, but with the people in the congregation.
Yes.
And I was reading those 2 pages tonight, almost grieving in a little way for how I have not known Jesus the way that Dallas Willard is describing him. That I find myself hesitant to say Jesus was the smartest man who ever walked the earth.
Yeah.
Simply because of the way I've been churched.
Yes.
And I think therein lies my frustration with my faith. And I'm fully and 100% open to see if I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah.
In fact, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. And I've been looking to myself to try to fix that. But what I'm trying to say is like I'm tired of golf clapping in church for the gospel.
Yeah.
I'm tired of going to a production instead of for the depth of who Jesus is.
Yeah.
And I'm getting so sick of it that I just can't hold it in anymore. And so like if you're listening to this and you're like, it hurt your feelings or something, like that's not what I meant to do, but we have to be real about this or nothing's gonna change.
Right. Yeah.
No one's gonna see anything different.
Yeah.
So that's my spiel.
I think the issue. Okay. First of all, for an unbeliever, like for someone who is an atheist or whatever that does agnostic, listening to Dallas Willard's words, like Jesus, Jesus is the smartest human being that ever walked the earth, like that whole deal, like it just off the bat, that probably doesn't mean a lot to them because they don't believe Jesus is God. So it's like, whatever. I think this is so good because it really does target the heart of the Christian life. And I feel like that's something that we as believers have lost our way. And in that we don't, like, yeah, saying that Jesus is the smartest person, like the most intelligent being that's ever lived and that still lives. Everyone, any believer, I could go to any person at or whatever church and ask them, like, is God, do you think that God is like the most intelligent person that lives? And of course their answer would be yes. But it's like, do you really believe that? Is that just something? Yes. Is that just something that you know, or is that something that you believe and act on?
Something you live.
Yes. And I think that would be a very different. If you could peek inside the heart, including myself. I mean,
Too.
this is me too.
We're talking about ourselves.
Yes.
Too.
And see the truth. Like, do we really act like that? Do we really believe that? And live in that way? That's the question. And that's why it's such a big issue, is because we're talking to believers. Like, and you're right, dude. It does like, it makes you grieve. It's like, gosh, how have I missed this?
Yeah.
How have we like missed this?
So here's
As the body of Christ, as the church.
Here's one more part I wanted to talk about that he says, because this describes probably one of the best ways how I feel that I've seen Jesus. No, let me rephrase that. This is how I feel, how I've acted on my belief in Jesus.
Okay.
Maybe my head knowledge has been different, but what I've been acting on in my heart has been very similar to this, and that's what has been grieving me.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so he says, basically he says, in any context in which people are supposed to be smart and informed, even the most thoughtful and devout Christian will find it hard to make a convincing presentation of the relevance of God and his spiritual world to real life. Quote, or the quote, real world has little room for a God of sparrows and children. To it, Jesus can only seem otherworldly, a good-hearted person out of touch with reality. Yes, it must be admitted that he is influential, but only because he affirms what weak-minded and faint-hearted individuals fantasize in the face of a brutal world. This is the part that gets me. He is like a cheerleader who continues to shout, "We are going to win," though the score is 98-3 against us in the last minute of the game. When this cheerleading approach to the real world triumphs among those who profess Christ, they may then have faith in faith, but will have little faith in God. For God, just let them cook, let them cook. For God and his world are just not real to them. They may believe in believing, but not be able to rely on God. Like many in our current culture who love, but in practice are unable to love real people. They may believe in prayer, think it quite a good thing, but be unable to pray believing, and so will rarely, if ever, pray at all. I'm not done yet. I have one little.
Forget how freaking.
Oh, dude. I personally have become convinced that many people who believe in Jesus do not actually believe in God. By saying this, I do not mean to condemn anyone, but cast light on why the lives of professed believers go as they do, and often quite contrary even to what they sincerely intend. That describes me, dude. I am the person he's describing. I have felt myself have faith in just faith itself, not in God.
Dude.
Like my heart.
The way he says that, oh my God, that is so true.
I love to love, but it is so hard to love real people.
Yeah.
I believe in God, but it's so hard to actually rely on him.
Yeah.
And even though it is what I sincerely intend to do, it is not what I often do.
Right.
And that is what stabs me in the freaking heart. Gosh, dude, I just want to live, man. I just want to truly live for God. I want to experience what the kingdom of heaven is really supposed to be. I'm so tired of living as a Christian consumer of church and of God. It feels like I'm living a social media Christian life, but it's real life.
Yeah.
And I like can't get out of the matrix. But like this book is red pilling me to get out of the matrix.
Yeah.
Not like in the sense of a political red pill, but I'm talking like a religious red
Yes.
pill
Yeah.
to see church the way Jesus intended it and everything else the way Jesus intended it.
See the kingdom.
To see the
The way it was
kingdom of
intended
God,
to be.
the way it was intended
Yeah.
to be. And that is what grieves my heart so bad.
Yeah. Like, what does it actually mean to live in the kingdom of God? It's so much more than these Sunday morning services, than these shows, these productions, all these things that we do that seem to have so much significance for no reason.
And I will say this, and I want to hear more of your feedback. Why is it that anywhere I go in a church, in a young adult group, in a youth group, pretty much anywhere I go that a church, like as in church, a part of a local church setting, I feel like I'm on a set. And that if I'm on a set, like a film set almost, in some senses, but also almost like a spiritual set, that I feel a pressure to perform.
Yeah.
Raise my hands, say a certain prayer the right way, say something in small group that's profound just for the sake of being profound, not for the sake of actual value or depth. And I hate when I feel that way. And I finally got the revelation of why that is. The local church has become a place where complacent Christianity is encouraged unknowingly.
Unknowingly.
That is the key. It is good intention, but it is unknowingly encouraging the golf claps for the gospel.
Yes.
It's encouraging the spiritual egotism.
Yes.
It's encouraging the consumer complacency of Christianity. That is why I feel the way I do in services. No matter what church I go to, I almost feel the exact same.
Yeah.
Like I am simply experiencing a surface level, borderline gross level of what the kingdom of God is truly supposed to be, a shell of what it's supposed to be.
A shadow.
And to bring this home, I think at the core of what we're trying to do with the second floor experience, both as the podcast, but also as the physical building we're going to have as the coffee shop, we're trying to create, and literally create in the sense of we're having to innovate in the kingdom of God.
Yeah.
And we're trying to innovate in the Christian world, I should say.
Yeah.
A place for people that is conducive to practicing this, I'm going to call kingdom mentality Christianity.
Yeah.
And I don't frankly have all the language for that yet. I don't have all the practices. I think it's a lot more simple than we make it.
I agree. Yeah.
But that is finally what I realized is going on with me. Is producing the feeling that I've been experiencing.
Yeah.
And it feels so good to freaking say that. Gosh.
You said all of that beautifully, dude. Beautifully. That was fantastic. I was thinking about this kind of yesterday. I think yesterday. I feel like a good way to put this whole thing for some people maybe is, you know how like how do I put this? You know, like people who I guess don't live very healthy lives, right? And like I'm talking like physically healthy. They probably have a horrible diet. They probably don't go to the gym. They probably don't work out. And then they experience sickness, or they experience some kind of, bodily, something along those lines. And they go to a doctor, and instead of the doctor telling them, hey, like, if you would probably just, eat healthy, fix your diet, go to the gym, exercise, do these things to help your body become a healthy body, then instead of that, they go to the doctor and they receive a pill, and they receive an antidepressant, they receive a shot of some kind, or they receive a Band-Aid, basically, for the core issue that's going on. I feel like that is what church has become for Christians, is that we have, it's such a shallow way to live in the kingdom, and people are experiencing, especially our age, of all ages really, are experiencing like true loneliness and true struggles with their faith. Like, how come they're not hearing God? How come they go to all these services? How come they go to all these Bible studies, all these small groups? They go to the altar 20 freaking times, but they're not seeing the breakthrough that they want to see. Or they're not hearing God, they want to hear them, whatever. But they're not experiencing. They're getting these Band-Aids for their faith. They're not experiencing the kingdom as it truly was intended to be. Because seeing God, seeing Jesus, as you described it, as the supreme intelligence that we have access to right now, and to live in that kingdom. And it just goes down the line from there, but I feel like that's a good way to compare.
That's a really good analogy. I feel like I've been getting a Band-Aid my whole life.
Yes.
And let me rephrase that.
But like, we don't even know it, dude.
Yes.
We think that the Band-Aid is the entirety of the faith.
Yes. And
That's the problem.
This is what's crazy, is there will be times in my life where I've experienced very powerful moments with God.
Yes.
And what is preached, or at least what is inferred, is that those moments are the true kingdom of God.
Yeah.
And you spend your whole Christian life trying to get to those moments,
dude. Just waiting for the next retreat, just waiting for the next revival, just waiting for the next crazy altar call. It's a high. It's like this spiritual high that I don't think is very well. I don't want to take away from people's experiences with God. I think that people do have genuine experiences, genuine breakthrough through church. I think that does happen, but the problem is that it's so hard to even, like, I don't know. The problem is that it's like you just keep going back to that. You just keep going back to this. Okay, like, from the church's standpoint, they come to the altar, maybe they receive this huge high, this huge moment with God. Then it's like, okay, now we're just gonna like feed you, like then your whole, like, this is like what I was saying to you, which I do have a question for you. But this is what I was saying to you on Monday night, where it's like serving God is equated to come serve at the church, or worshiping God is equated to this 20-minute, 40-minute worship session, and giving to God is equated to giving to the church. It's like everything, your whole faith is like funneled through this institution.
Yes.
That's not the actual kingdom of God. It's a building. It's a building.
It is. It is a
It's
business.
not the kingdom of God. It's a building. And that's the problem.
That was a huge moment for me just now, realizing that about why we're so frustrated is why I'm so frustrated in my faith without realizing it. What I've been trying to put words to for so long is I've been taught my whole life that peak Christianity is those youth camp moments.
Yeah.
And I've literally had thoughts like, man, I need to help my parents. Like, there needs to be camps for adults like this so that they can have these kind of experiences and breakthroughs. I've literally had those thoughts because once you leave youth, you typically never have those experiences again, unless you go on a mission trip, or maybe very, very sporadically inside of the local church. Maybe an evangelist will come or something like that, and they'll have like a freaking revival night or something. And you're left the other 99% of your everyday life thinking that you're not Christian enough, that you just don't know how to really connect with God.
Yeah.
Because we equate it with this spiritual high. And it's not either or, as in never have a spiritual moment that's emotional.
Right.
It's both. Those moments are valid oftentimes, and the other 95% of Christian true kingdom, I'm going to call it kingdom living, is the rubber meets the road, your transmission goes out. How are you going to not go home to your wife and yell about how frustrated you are? How are you not going to treat your friends badly because you're frustrated? How are you not going to take this anger out on someone who doesn't deserve it? Like, how are you going to truly take that frustration and give it to God in everyday experiences? And that is what is so frustrating about all of this, is that what I just mentioned about kingdom living and the everyday life is what Jesus meant when he said, the kingdom of heaven is at hand.
Yes.
And the people who were listening to him understood that he meant he's here for the average person.
Yeah.
When they'd been told their whole lives by their political leaders, their religious and political leaders, that they were less than because they were not a Pharisee or a Sadducee.
Right, yeah.
And so my frustration is that I'm now realizing that I can live at peace when a transmission comes out and I have to pay $4 or $5 grand off just out of nowhere for a new transmission, and I can go home and be fine.
Yeah.
Because I know God is my provider. And I truly believe that.
Yes.
But there's other parts of my life that I'm still so far from really truly believing that he's a healer or he's a protector.
Yeah. It's the, man, how does he say it? It's the having faith in faith.
Yeah.
Like the way he says that is so freaking good, dude, because it's so true. It's like we believe
in belief.
Yeah. I recently have been, because I just finished the book. I finished the book recently. And this whole, I feel like I'm finally starting to understand what that means. To allow God to truly transform you from the inside out, so that you would be the kind of person that responds to a broken down transmission in that way. So that you would be the kind of person that when someone yells at you or treats you the wrong way, you literally can turn the other cheek. And it's like how I was thinking how my dad put it, how he was saying like, just got quiet. I was saying like, where it gets to the point where it actually becomes difficult to respond in anger, to respond to lust, or to whatever it is, whatever sin that you have a habit of doing, right? Like to get to, I like that, when I thought about it in that way, that I could actually, that it would actually be difficult for me to respond in like anger, to respond to lust, or to respond to anything else. Like, it would be difficult to do that. That's such a different, that's a complete
Way
mind
of-
change. That's a completely different way of thinking.
Yeah, Dallas Willard, you'll
Yeah.
know, talks about it living upside down.
Yes. Yeah. And that's just like, wow. That, I mean, dude, that makes me feel empowered as
That makes me
as a
feel
believer.
empowered.
It makes me feel empowered as a believer, dude. Gosh.
Yeah, he says, when this cheerleading approach to the real world triumphs among those who profess Christ, they may then have faith in faith, but will have little faith in God. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's so true of how I feel sometimes.
I feel like the hardest part about this whole thing is describing this
Yes.
to churchgoers.
Yes.
Because I can't word it like freaking Dallas Willard unless I literally carry his freaking book around, dude. Like, I can't do
or
that.
screenshots of pages on
Yeah,
his phone.
yeah. And even then, they're probably like, you know, that's like how many pages in, you know, like to get to that point. There's so much like deconstructing in the mind that has to go on before you can understand that. I feel like maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong in that. I don't know.
No, you're totally right. Because what the average churchgoer will respond with is "Amen."
Yeah,
like-
probably. Yeah.
they'll be like-
yeah.
Well, to some things, you'll be like, "Yeah, you know, the church is us,"
Yeah.
and it's difficult to provide enough perspective in a way that is not, oh my gosh, this is what's happened. This is why cults are so dangerous, is they use this tactic purposefully, which is essentially word manipulation, wherein they change the definition of a word without anyone else realizing it. So, for example, when someone like a Mormon says, "Oh, I believe in Jesus," what they're really saying is, "I believe in Jesus as a person, but not as God." But to the Christian, we'll think, "Oh, then we both believe the same thing."
Yeah.
And there's several more examples throughout all sorts of different cults. But I believe what the Christian church has unknowingly and unintentionally done.
Yes.
Those are two very important points.
Yes. We want to emphasize that.
We have unknowingly changed the definitions of what Jesus meant when he
Yes.
said things like the kingdom of heaven,
Yeah.
faith, belief, love,
Church.
church. And we walk around, people like you and me who are just trying to figure this stuff out. We'll try to have a conversation using those words, but the church hive mind, for lack of a better term, the overall consensus of these words is overall consistency of the definition of these words is different than Dallas Willard is arguing Jesus meant them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why it's so hard for us to communicate this.
Yeah.
It's because we have to stop each word or each phrase and describe what we're really trying to say.
Yeah. Gosh, man. What a predicament.
I have something positive to share if you don't have another thought on that.
I did have another thought, but I forgot. I can't.
Maybe it'll come back to you.
Yeah, it might.
So I don't think any of this matters without action. without like
Right, yeah.
tangible results of change in people's lives.
Yeah.
So if you guys remember listening, you who are listening or watching, remember Jesse and Shelly from our episode who were homeless at the time. They've now gotten approved for an assisted living home, which is amazing. Pretty sure Shelly,
amazing.
I'm pretty sure Shelly like got a job there too, the same one that
Wow.
Jesse's going to be staying at, which is huge.
Wow.
And so we've been helping them get to that point. And I got a call. Well, I got a text from Jesse on Thursday, I think. And he said, "Hey, I have some good news for you. Can you call me when you have a chance?" So I called him, and he says, "Joseph, I just got approved to get prosthetic legs. I've been waiting on this. The money got stopped. There was this whole red tape situation. They had made him all these promises after he got his legs amputated. So Jesse had been told that when he got his legs amputated that he would get prosthetic legs. And it had gotten delayed. So he called me and he said, basically, he was like, "Joseph, I got approved." They called me and he was like, he was literally like in tears over the phone. He was like crying, saying, "They finally approved me. Like for the next 2 weeks, I'm gonna be essentially at their facility, living there. They're gonna teach me how to get in and out of cars, how to walk, how to do everything again, and they're gonna basically fit me for my custom prosthetic legs, and it's gonna take about 2 months for those to get in." But he was like, he said, "Joseph, you're the first person I called. I haven't even called my brother yet, but I just wanted to tell you that I wanted to share this with you and thank you for all the help that you guys have given us." And like I keep them updated on the podcast and tell them about like different things people tell us about their episode to show that they really made a difference with their sharing their story.
Yeah.
And you know, we've helped them get like a new wheelchair, different medications, like really tried to make sure we're continuing to support them. And ended up finally getting them into a place which is amazing. And so, but there had been several setbacks, both in his health and their living situation. And so it just felt like, and I know he described in his life where it just felt like he was taking L after L after L. And people would come in his life and say, "Oh, I'm going to help you, I'm going to help you, I'm going to help you." And then they would help him maybe one time and then ghost him or something.
Yeah.
And so even Shelly, his wife, like would text me and she was like, "Hey, I just want to thank you so much for essentially like sticking with us." She's like, "You really helped restore Jesse's trust in people." And to me, dude, that is it. That is to give someone else hope of what's possible through the love of taking care of someone. And it doesn't matter whatever way.
Yeah. Dude, you know what, bro? It wasn't a crazy miracle. It wasn't like, you weren't like, growing his legs back or freaking like doing something crazy.
Yeah.
It was just this simple act of taking care of another, of sharing love, of loving another human being.
Yes. And again, like, not that we don't believe that God could do something miraculous as that.
Yes.
Again, it's not an either or, it's a both and.
Yes.
Oftentimes, most of the time, ministry happens in those simple ways.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah.
And we just try to complicate it with these crazy productions or these crazy, like every sermon has to be this like insane thing.
Yeah.
It's like, why can't it just be a simple reminder of God's word? Why can't it be a simple reminder of Jesus' character? Because the word of God takes care of itself. It never returns void. The Holy Spirit does his job. He's God. Like, that's where we realize that we're not treating God as God.
Yes.
So, dude,
you were able to provide for Jesse because you believe in God as your provider.
Yes.
You didn't believe in just the belief. You believed that God would provide for you so that you could provide for Jesse.
Yes, dude.
And that is the difference. And that even more so, you didn't just believe that your church could handle it for you. You believed that God could work through you to change someone's life.
As the Big C church,
As the
body of
church.
Christ.
Yes.
I was empowered to say, you know what? I am not going to pass this on to someone else as their problem. I'm going to take this on as a believer in Jesus to see if I will actually follow through.
Yeah.
And it's been hard, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you may feel like you're being taken advantage of at times. It may feel like you're, you know, it's a nuisance. Like, you have all of those fleshly things come up. But what's the end result of you saying, okay, I'm gonna obey and I'm gonna be benevolent, I'm gonna be a giver of, whether that's time, money, energy, love, whatever. People's lives are impacted, and they're forced to reconcile your actions with their beliefs.
Yeah.
Meaning that if you're willing to go out of your way and do something like that to help someone, why are you doing it?
Yeah.
It begs the question, where is that coming from? Where is that
Yes.
benevolence coming from?
Yes.
And it's coming from God. So
Yes.
it prompts the person to either reject that inquisition and say, I'm not going to ask why, and that's their choice,
Yeah.
or
Right.
it opens a door of opportunity to a beautiful conversation where they're asking you, why are you helping us? Instead of you telling them they need Jesus.
Yeah. And then you don't have to act like a salesman.
Then you don't
Or
have to sell anything.
Yeah. The faith will sell itself, dude.
All right, dude.
So good.
I'm empty. I just emptied
Yeah.
myself, dude. That's been cooking in me that's been in the crock pot for days, weeks. Some of it years has been cooking, simmering.
I'm with you on that, dude.
Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I was like, this whole thing. Like, I know you've already said this, but I really want to put the emphasis on that, like, that we know. I believe that all these things that we're talking about that we think are like wrong with the church, like that it is, for the most part, I believe, unintentional. Like,
Yes.
We don't think that all Christians are just like liars or just like they're doing this, you know, I don't know, like they're not just like going out there trying to do this fake religion. I believe most believers sitting in a church on Sunday morning are there genuinely because they believe that they're receiving from God. And I believe, I wouldn't even say that they're not receiving from God. I believe that they are receiving from God.
Yes.
Because God respects and honors sincerity.
And God works through our imperfections.
Exactly.
This thing that we're talking about is never going to be perfect.
Never.
And we're not expecting it to be.
Right.
All the second floor experience is an experiment to see if we can do something with this new philosophy.
Yes. Yeah. So I would never want to call someone's like church experience or whatever as invalid. I think all that we're trying to say is that there's more.
Yes.
That there's more for the Christian life than just that. So that's all. I think that's all.
Thank you. Yeah, well said. Well said. Well, thank you for listening. I hope that this comes out well and you can actually hear what we said. So, peace.
Dude, feel the bottom of that.
We just started GoPro fire right here. Fire!
Dude, that would be amazing. Oh my God.
I want to talk to
Not now. Later. No, now.